About a month ago, I made a video saying that HLE was the best team in the LCK, even when GenG was on their super winning streak, going 17-1 in the regular season. I thought that HLE was the best team in the league. And with the grand finals just happening this morning, I think that I just caught another dub. I was right again, and HLE won in a pretty close best of five in the full 5 games, and they pulled out the upset in 3 games to 2. So I'm going to go over rapid fire all 5 drafts and see if, they had anything to do with the outcomes of the games. So jumping into game 1 here, we have Smolder first pick by GenG, completely fine, 3-way flex, Omega scaling. We just want them to build around the same themes now. First 3 for Hanwha Life are Ashe, Zyra, and Tristana. Very, very nice. You can flex Tristan to mid and top, but it's going to be mid. Either way, really consistent teams with long range, really good scaling, which is very, very nice. They just need some kind of front line. And then Skarner and Ezreal to finish out phase 1 as well for GenG is fine. Ezreal's really strong. Skarner's also a jungle top flex. I think jungle's his better role, just because he got so many nerfs in top lane. His early laning phase is nowhere near where it used to be, so hopefully that goes jungle. And through the first phase, it's pretty even. Not really any particular side getting ahead, but I do think that Hanwha Life has an advantage in the jungle matchup just because Zyra's going to be able to clear so much faster. So I think the pressure's on Canyon on the Skarner to get something done early, because Zyra's going to be able to power farm and outpace Skarner significantly, so she'll probably have more value in team fights. Finishing out here, HLE R4 Leona, so there's that in front line and engage I was talking about. That's going to be able to buy space pretty effectively for the 2 marksmen and the Zyra. And then GenG round out with Rel and Cassante. This makes absolutely no sense. Rel trying to run into Zyra, Tristana, and Ashe isn't going to do anything. Cassante is also going to get outkited like crazy. And then the Mordekaiser counterpick on R5 coming in for HLE is really, really nice. Great Mord angle with 3 short range melee tanky people that Mord does really, really well into. So game 1 draft definitely goes to HLE. Here in the game 2 draft through first phase, I would say GenG definitely has the advantage. They pretty much have the same first phase that HLE had in game 1, except they've replaced Tristana with Corki. I think Corki's better anyways, although they're pretty comparable, even though Tristana's been nerfed quite a few times. The only thing that really ruins it for HLE is the Jhin. If they had any actual ADC in this position, they would be completely fine. You can go with really anything that matches the range and the scaling of Ashe. You can go with things like Varus, you can go Ezreal, you can go Kog'Maw, you can go Twitch, you can go so many things, and Jhin is just not it. The Azir and the Ivern are very, very nice. I'm not saying that Jin's going to be irrelevant, just compared to the Ashe and the Corki, he's just not as good of a champion as an ADC. And then HLE go ahead and ruin their chances of winning by R4ing Renekton. When you look at those first 3 picks from GenG, I don't understand how you can pick Renekton and think he's going to have value. He's just not. Now all GenG have to do is pick any tank, and they'll just win the game. Blitzcrank coming in on B4 is pretty interesting, kind of calling out that HLE is probably going to pick an immobile enchanter in support, which I don't know if that happened, but the Blitzcrank is definitely an interesting pick. And there's the tank on B5 rather, the Ornn coming in into the Renekton. So Ornn's just a superior champion flat out. He's going to win the lane. He's going to be unkillable. He's going to scale ridiculously well, give out items to all his teammates. And GenG absolutely hard wins draft in game 2 with the Alistar coming out on R5 as well. Hanwha Life have just drafted 3 non-champions, and you can't win with just Ivern and Azir. It's just not going to happen. GenG have great scaling, great front-to-back team fight. Definitely a huge draft win in game 2 for them. Here in game 3, it's pretty weird dynamic here. Again, Hanwha Life lock in Jhin, and I think it's pretty ironic how they lost both Jhin games they played here in this series. It just proves that the champ is bad. Viper also did the trash static shiv into rapid fire second build, does 0 damage, so he just decided to grief his team for no reason. Anyways, that's a side note. GenG again with a really solid first phase with Corki and Ziggs and Skarner. Again, the Skarner's probably going jungle because that's by far his best role now. So really solid first phase with great scaling, great range, and good front line that you've already decided with Skarner. Now they can pick another front line in either top or support, and then, kind of flex what they want to do from there. Hanwha Life, I feel like, is a little bit lost. Their mid jungle is pretty strong at level 6 mark, but the Jhin, again, just doesn't really fit with anything. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and I don't feel like it's going to have a whole lot of value. I mean, if you watch the games, it didn't have a whole lot of value. But the Yone is definitely good, combos well with the Maokai in the early game, and obviously scales very, very well, and does well into the Corki and lane phase. Just the Jin is going to have no value because he's not going to be able to do anything in lane against Ziggs, and he's not going to outscale the Ziggs. And into champions like Skarner and Alistar as an immobile carry like Jin, you're not really going to be able to do a whole lot. HLE round out with Rakan and Camille. Rakan is a little bit weird. I don't think it does very well into Alistar, and it doesn't combo well in lane with the Jin. A bit of a random pick for sure. And then they go ahead and B5 Camille as a blind pick, which is actually really interesting. I don't know if they thought that Skarner might go top lane, but I'm pretty sure Skarner actually beats Camille in top lane. So really, really interesting that they blind picked Camille, and then GenG go an R5 counter with Jax. It's not the hardest of counters, but it definitely wins the matchup. And yeah, another huge draft win to GenG. Even though they have Alistar, I think their bot lane's going to have a whole lot more value just because it's Ziggs. And then the scaling just on the rest of the team is going to be really nice, and it's a super unplayable matchup for Camille as well. Now here we are in Game 4 through first phase. It's honestly pretty even. HLE is building a basic front-to-back team fight with good scaling. Maokai is very, very nice. Double Marksman is very standard. And then on GenG's side, you also have the Corki, the Misfortune, and the Zyra, also pretty standard, which we've seen throughout the series with a double Marksman. And then the teams have kind of been trading fast-farming AP junglers for frontline junglers, and that trade is kind of continuing to happen here. GenG go in R4 Alistar, which really I don't understand. You really want to pick, especially with Misfortune, a support that can effectively lock down for her ultimate. Something like that would be a Mumu, something that might be even Rel. Obviously they've banned Rel, so that's not available. But Alistar just isn't very good as a champion, but he's there. HLE to go ahead and round out with the Blitzcrank and the Jax, kind of like GenG did last game. I guess Blitzcrank is winning into Alistar. I don't actually know if that's the case, but I know he doesn't beat Zyra because Zyra plants can block Blitzhook. And then the blind pick Jax as well is just kind of odd. It's going to be go ahead and countered by Udyr, which is, it's a fine pick, but it doesn't really do anything into the Jackson lane. Honestly, pretty even drafts in this game, but I would give a slight edge to HLE just because of the support matchup, and I feel like Blitz could have value in this game. And now here we are in the final Game 5 draft. So far, the better draft has won every single game, so hopefully it continues along the same trend in Game 5. HLE go ahead and first phase Ziggs, Vi, and Yone. The Ziggs and Yone are fantastic. The Vi, it's there. It's going to be outvalued by the Skarner pretty much every phase in the game. Vi can combo well with Ziggs with the ultimate layering, and that's probably what they're going for with a pretty heavy dive comp with the Jax and the Yone as well over the top. So they're going for a pretty heavy dive team fight comp to try to get on top of the GenG backline. Example, Corki and Kai'Sa. GenG go ahead and first phase Corki, Kai'Sa, and Skarner. The Corki and the Skarner are really, really nice. I just think Kai'Sa's not great. If you don't go AP Kai'Sa, you're not going to be getting a whole lot of value. Like, he's going to go on-hit Kai'Sa this game, and he's trying to do that into this type of dive. It's just not going to have any value. He's going to insta-dive every fight and not going to be able to do any damage at all. And then they round out with Cassante and Nautilus, which is even worse. So GenG's draft as a whole this game is just all over the place and picking pretty useless champions, honestly. And then the HLE go in R5 counter with Rel, just adding to the team fight dive. So HLE's comp in Game 5 has a really clear theme in mind, really clear goal. They just want a hard dive and hard team fight around objectives. And, they seem to have done that successfully because they won the series 3-2. So I'll take the dub, saying that HLE did turn out to be the best team in the LCK. Maybe some of you will still be in denial and think that GenG is still the best team. Maybe they can prove that at Worlds, but GenG usually chokes at Worlds, so I'm really excited I caught another dub. HLE definitely deserved the win, 3-2 in the LCK Finals. Thanks for watching. See you next time.